impeccable leadership, being humble, Christ-centered, forward-thinking, business savvy, and brave. That's how we would describe one of our gospel music pioneers in South Africa. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ginger, the founder of Ginger the Voice. We are a communications company that seeks to give hope, courage, and enlightenment. We do this through various platforms such as speaking, singing, and hosting talk shows such as these. So it's impossible to talk about the gospel music in South Africa without mentioning joyous celebration. And tonight we are so blessed and honored to be graced by Pastor Jabu Hlongwane, who's in our midst. Babu Hlongwane, thank you so much for coming through. We are so excited to have you here. In fact, we're jumping. If you could see our hearts, we are jumping for joy to see you gracing us with your presence here at Ginger the Voice. Welcome so much, sir. We know that you're a man. You're a man of many hats. You're a pastor, you're a singer, you're a songwriter. I mean, you're an author, you're a businessman, you're a father, you're a husband. There's just so many hats to you and so many talents to you. I think we're interested to know, how is it that you were able to juggle being a father and a husband and yet give attention to the other things that need you, the many hats that I've already identified? How are you able to juggle
that? Hi, I want to greet your viewers. It's like you're introducing somebody else, eh? We thank God for the opportunity. I think 24 hours is a very long time.
Okay.
And God calculated the 24 hours, and he knew that we don't need more than that. Now, when you wake up in the morning and you allocate things to do into each and every hour, you will discover that every day, half the time, you don't know what you were doing. If you were, as you listen to this, if you were to allocate what you did on the first hour you woke up, you would find that the things you do don't cover the hour. So every hour is not necessarily covered, and there are hours you don't know what happened to them. So it means if half the time cannot be accounted for, you only lived half your life, which means if you are 30, it means if you are 30, you are actually 15. And maybe that is why a lot of people who are 30 have achieved like a 15-year-old. I'm answering you. I allocate things before I sleep to say, tomorrow, this is what I'm going to do. Allocate in each and every hour to an extent that you allocate time to do nothing.
So you plan and organize your life. It's very important. Yeah. Wow. And I do know, like I've said, you're a man of many hats. Which one do you reflect with the most or identify with the most? Being a pastor, being a singer? Because like I said to you, for me, when I spoke to you yesterday, I just picked up the speaker in you, and also the humility that came with it. And then I understood, oh, he's a pastor. Well, not all pastors are like that, but the humility that came with the speaking, the tone you use, the pronunciation. I was like, no, man, this gentleman is more than what we see even on media. He's more than that. So which hats do you most identify with?
I don't identify with any. I do not define myself with what I do.
Wow.
You see, when God says of himself, I am, that's his identity. And then he goes and provides. And we say, oh, God, the provider. You understand? He goes and does other things. There's other, because you once you start to define yourself with one thing, you are locking the doors for other things that God has for you.
Absolutely.
So if I say, for instance, I'm a speaker, and one day my voice goes, it means I'm nothing. So I don't define myself with things. I do what needs to be done. If it's dirty, I sweep, but I'm not a sweeper. If I'm hungry, I cook, but I'm not a cooker. I am. So if
Okay.
God has given me more than one thing to do
Mm-hmm.
per need that arises,
Mm-hmm.
I give 100% to that. Now, if I do that well, it does not say I am that. Because the problem, I mean, imagine Jesus walking on water and then he prints business cards as a specialist in water. Then he's locked up in the water thing. He's not going to raise the dead. He's not going to heal the woman with an issue of blood. He's not going to go to the cross because he's locked up in the definitions of things that he did well. So I am me. I just go do whatever needs to be done, and I use what God has given me. I'm not sure if I've answered you.
You've answered me, and I guess what you're saying is we shouldn't box ourselves. Be everything and anything that you've been purposed to do. Is that what you're saying in a nutshell?
This is one of my mottos. My mottos, I have a few of them, but one of them is to be all I can be as soon as I can.
Wow. Wow. And I suppose you not wasting time will help you get there as soon as you can, because you just said earlier that you plan your time, you plan your day, you're organized. Wow, wow. Okay, talking about who Jabu is, who is there I am. Okay, I also know that you are politically inclined or clued up. And the reason why I'm saying that is because one of the groups that you have formed, a group that has touched millions and millions of people, not just in South Africa with their sound, but across the continent and even overseas. And you are one of the pioneers and the founders of that group. It was birthed at a time from a political context, I must say, in 1994. So as someone who's clued up, to me, that just said you are a Christian who's not just, we usually say heavenly bound, but you're also focusing on what's happening around us. You are clued up and you are part of the society. Hence, you were able to think of this idea and birth it at a time that you birthed it. So I want to understand from you, Mr. or rather, let me say Pastor, what do you think is going on politically at this point in time in our country, in our nation, and what does the role of music now have to play in order to restore our society?
Okay, the nature of things as they stand now, not only in South Africa, I mean all over the world, but in South Africa particularly, the confusion is coming from leadership that want to benefit from what they should be passing on to people. The biggest thing at the top is corruption right now. The corruption penetrates the society from the top to the bottom. That's the issue that we are dealing with in South Africa, particularly now. And but if we have leadership that, you know, there's something that was said by somebody. They said, if you live for yourself, you leave nothing for generations to come.
Absolutely.
Because you want to grasp everything in front of you as much as you can, as soon as you can, before others come in. And therefore, the leadership problem becomes that. And those that want to get into leadership, they don't really want to lead people and take care of people. No, they want to go in Nabo and get something out of whatever the pot that is there. So that's the biggest problem we have in South Africa. But it's a pot that the other African countries and many other countries have, where people in leadership are not in leadership for leading. They're in leadership for looting.
Gaining.
So that's the biggest problem we have. But the African problem is when you go to Africa, for instance, when you go to many countries, including Cameroon, Ghana, we go to Mozambique, you go to other places, you find that the infrastructure and the lifestyle is still the lifestyle and infrastructure that was built by colonizers. So the government and leadership that took over from them did nothing that reflects who they are and where they come from. They just maintained, and along the way they got tired of maintaining. You see remnants of the vestiges of the colonialist past. Everywhere you go to whatever in the continent, because I've traveled in the continent, I've seen that a lot. So those are the crises of leadership. Because leadership is not about you. If you can understand as a leader that it's not about you, it's about the people that you are entrusted to lead. You know, imagine at home, your mother or your father, they go to work and they get paid, and they squander all the money and they give nothing to you. And if you're crying, they give you a piece of bread, and that's it. They buy expensive clothes. They live in rooms that are decorated. Whenever they keep you in that little corner in the house, you are in the same house, but they don't care about you. They care about themselves. Going out, eating nice, dressing nicely, living this life, but they don't care about you. Now, in a home situation, that would be sad. Not that it's a home situation in the country, but this thing is prevalent in Africa and in our country. I mean, when you hear that one person has squandered more than 3 million, not 3 million, 300 million. When you follow the VBS saga, you see a person is given 200 million. What do you do with that? You know, one person. That's the situation with politics, unfortunately, in South Africa right now. That's the problem.
And so also now with music, because you've already set a precedent to say when something's happening, you come up. That's how we know you now, and that's how we see you, and probably that's what we expect from you. You come up in a musical way to not to address the issue per se, but to help restore society. With your sound, Joy Celebration has cleaned up a lot of hearts, has captivated a lot of souls. So what is it now that is relevant? How have you, with Joy Celebration and the music that you do, have tried to be relevant in today's circumstances?
The single on this particular release, Joyous 25, the album has just come out. Actually, we are performing this Friday to launch the project. The single song that we've released talks about that. The title says Hlala Nami. It's a nice Xhosa song. When the song is their response, it says we are going through a lot of stuff, you know, and when we look at things are dark and dim, and there's no hope when you look at it, including COVID and loss of jobs, loss of loved ones, loss of everything. It's quite dim. Now, as Africans, particularly South Africans, gospel music has carried us way back. I mean, we used to toi using gospel songs and change the lyrics in churches. And when the police came, I know you were not born yet. 1976 and during those times, we used to come to churches as if we are going to a church service. And in church service, we sing political songs. We change the gospel music lyrics. We put political statements in there. So we use gospel music. So gospel music is close to the hearts of South Africans because it carried them during their time. Even now, when you come to our shows, you find that 14-year, 15-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 50-year-olds, even 60-year-olds come to one show. There's no show that appeals to that wide range of ages where people come together, the whole family, like 4 generations coming together and enjoying the same music. And when you see older people dancing and younger people enjoying the song, because this song I'm talking about is an old Xhosa song, but we packaged it nicely and contemporarily, so the younger ones they connect to that. But older ones who know it from Ewesile or from their churches connect to that because of that. So the music soothes. When you go through the show, we stand on stage when we sing, and you see in the audience, you see sometimes somebody standing up and just facing upwards, and then you see tears running down their face. It's healing. You understand? It breaks down the pain. It breaks down the hardships, the sorrow. It's healing. When you come out of that space, you are lighter and you're feeling better. So the role of the music we do is to assuage the hearts, to make it better. You know, it doesn't solve the corruption necessarily, but it gives you strength, it gives you hope, it makes it better for your soul.
You know, for me, it's an interesting phenomenon that to note that it's not just your old people who enjoy your music or your middle age. As I said, it's across generation, and
Yeah.
not only that. We have now seen that you guys have been performing in Kenya. They love you in Cameroon, in Ghana. I mean, recently you've just went to Bishop T.D. Jakes' church in the USA.
Yeah.
That's big. And I want to quote one of the interviews that you had with Minister Tito Mboweni, just to highlight what we're talking about, that Joy Celebration has become one of the greatest musical groups in South Africa and in the entire continent that's captured the hearts of people from not just generations, but also from different backgrounds, different socioeconomic backgrounds as well. You know, I remember I read in an article, and they quoted the Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, saying that he was talking about the show that he went to for Joy Celebration, and he said, "This is where I attend church." So there's certain people who probably will not ever want to go, for reasons known to them, to see a church, but Joy Celebration has given a platform for them to also experience what they will experience at church. How are you able to package Joy Celebration to be such a very, you know, deep and very diverse group, so much that it caters not just for generations, but people from different socioeconomic statuses and from different ethnic groups?
The trick is in everything that you do. When God wants to touch people, he uses a person.
Absolutely.
When God wants to do something, he calls one person. The biggest thing for you as a person that is called, use what he has put in you and give it 100%. And then it's God's responsibility to facilitate the responses. So what we did when we started this thing, we gave our 100%. It had nothing to do with fame, nothing to do with money, nothing to do with anything. We just wanted to pour out our spirits of gratitude to God and give everything we've got doing that. And then the response, when it's like when we woke up and like we see a lot of responses from all over the place, we're like, what is this? Because when we started on Joyous One, we just wanted to do one show. And there was no plan of doing Joyous Two. I mean, if you were to tell us then that we'd be on Joyous 25, we'll be like, you that's a big
dreaming.
We don't have an intention to do that. We don't have the funds to do that. We don't have a plan to do that. But when we did the first one and we give our all in that first one, people were like, you need to do another one. When is the next one? So we're like, okay, let's try to do the second one. Oh man, to do the second one, we need money. Where are we going to, how much do we have over there? How much do we have there? Let's try and put it together. We tried to put it together. But the third one, we decided, no one, people liked the second one. They liked the first one. Maybe the best thing is to go source out money intentionally. So we wrote proposals now, presentations, we went to corporate, and then we got a little something now, we were planning now, and then we put the third one on stage. And then the fourth one, we went to MTN, and MTN were like, okay, we'll go with you. That's when we started now to get to PE, we got to Cape Town, we got to Durban, we got to Joburg. And then after that, we got Metropolitan, we got other sponsors that came on board. Right now, we are sitting with MTN for, I think it's the 14th year now. And they are the naming sponsor, MTN Joy Celebration, that's what we are called. But it's because as corporates, they believe in what we do in terms of talent. skills development, skills transfer, and giving opportunity to young people that have talent to flourish, because the kids that come through our platform, they go out and become fully fledged artists on their
Yes,
own. I mean,
yes, yes.
Nebagazi was recording her first DVD 2 days
Recently.
ago. You
Yes,
understand? And
yes.
many others who have recorded. I mean, others have TV programs. Thank you,
Mm.
Ntombela has a TV program. Mahali recorded a DVD. Tohozo is well known all over the world. A whole lot of them now, because they come in here, and our job is to expose them to the reality of the industry, but teach them how to be an artist. I teach them the
Mm.
importance of handling yourself correctly as an artist. Teach them how to write a song, how to sing, how to use a stage, how to dress, how to respect. What do you do when you get to churches? You can't be a diva when you get to a church, you're invited. And we teach them all those things as we travel with them. And when they have learned enough, we let them go and they establish their own careers. So the biggest thing, we don't sit and say, we want to write music that will touch people. No. We don't sit and say we want to do something that will be talked about all over the world. No, we don't do that. We
Okay.
sit down and we say, what are we feeling?
Mm.
What are we hearing? What is God saying?
Mm.
And then we put that down. And then, as a songwriter, I don't want to sing my songs. For instance, are not a type. You can never box me to say, oh, this is the type of music that he does. No, I can't.
Yes,
I write music according to how I'm feeling and what is
exactly.
is
Take
is
time.
being whispered in my ear and what I'm feeling here. The song I'm doing now on Joyous 25, it talks about when Jesus comes, we will be like him. I was feeling that, but I was feeling a certain type of music, a Zion type of music. But next time I'll be feeling something funky, something upbeat, something contemporary, maybe something jazzy even. So we don't confine ourselves to a particular way of working. We try as much as possible to say, what are you feeling now? And it might be something I was not feeling, because what I'm feeling now is not what I was feeling last week
Yeah,
and what I was
absolutely.
feeling last year.
Of course.
God,
Yeah,
God works with time. As time goes, God speaks differently as we continue. So it's important for us as musicians, particularly gospel musicians, to listen to God now, so that you will be relevant to tomorrow. Because God
sure.
prepares for tomorrow now. But
Wow.
now was prepared yesterday. So you listen to God as you go with Him in terms of what songs you do, how you do them, and all that. So that's how we work. And we discover when we have done that, that people like it, then it's hallelujah.
I want to read a comment from the viewers. It's more of a question. Now, we talk about Joyous Celebration, and they are saying that why does Joyous Celebration not compose new songs? You're talking about the feeling. Why
Yeah.
is it that Joyous Celebration doesn't compose new songs? That she says that there's so much talent. Surely there are songwriters in the music group. So he's just asking, he wanted to remain anonymous. Why
Yeah.
is it that your celebration, in you feeling it, in you writing whatever it is that you're connecting with at the moment, why is it that you don't come up with new lyrics, new tunes, etc.?
The question should be, why is Joy Celebration singing, um, or why is Joy Celebration also singing known songs?
He
Because
missed it.
yeah, because that question assumes that all the music we do is not composed. That's what the
Mm,
question is assuming.
absolutely. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
but when you
Probably doesn't
check,
read the leaflet. He doesn't read the
yeah,
leaflet.
yeah, it's
He
people
doesn't read the
who
leaflet.
don't follow what we do.
Mm,
If you
mm,
follow what we do, you will
mm,
see that more than half of the music we compose from scratch, and
mm.
more than it depends on the year, you know, and you see, as a creative,
Mhm,
people have a tendency to want to impose to you, to
mhm.
say, why don't you do this or why don't you do that? You don't know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
I was not with you when I set out to do this.
Absolutely.
So you don't ask me like there's an agreement I made with you that I will do this. You understand what I'm saying? It's important to say, because it's simple. If if an artist does not do music like you like, there's another one that might do what you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
So
vast
don't waste your
artist.
time with that one that does not do what you like. Rather go
Absolutely.
and
Move
find
on.
somebody that will compose new songs like they say. You understand? Because as a musician, you are a person. I mean, if you go to church, for instance, okay, as I talk to you, listening to me right now as you viewing this, that is why we want to, when you're driving on the freeway, maybe the interview didn't go too well. You want to play that particular song, but it's a particular song that you know, a song that will do what you need in your spirit.
You can
So
relate to the song.
exactly, you don't relate to songs you don't know. You first have to know the songs. So
Yes.
songs
Yes.
that really have an impact, songs that really heal people, songs that make a difference in people's lives are songs that they can relate to. So they're leaning on songs that are known is forced sometimes by that, number one. But also, as a songwriter or as a singer, I want to sing a particular song. It doesn't matter that it's known.
No. Yes.
I'm there right now. I'm in the space where I want to sing this
Absolutely.
song. So
Absolutely.
because of you sitting somewhere in Pulukwane or wherever, wanting me to sing a different song, I can't do that. Because number one, I don't know you. I didn't have a conversation with you. What I'm feeling right now is a song that says "Denzeluncedo ngokuhlala nami." I want God to hlala nami now. You understand? So when I record that song that says "hlala nami," it's ministering to me. That's another thing people don't understand. We don't only sing for people. I also sing for me.
All
You
right.
understand?
Okay.
So those are
Okay.
the dynamics. But if to go back to the question, when they check the music, they will see that there are many songs that we've composed. I mean, many
Absolutely.
songs that have come forth.
Absolutely.
It's just that
Absolutely.
maybe the person is not a follower of Joyous, so they don't know that. If they go and check, they will find that there are many songs. But we will not stop singing songs that we are feeling just because it's a known song. Because we're
Sure.
not only singing for a person that is looking for new songs, but we're
Mm-hmm.
singing in order to heal ourselves also, and somebody out there picking up and healing themselves with the songs because they know the songs. I think that's how it is.
But what's also nice about how Joy Celebration does the known songs is that you guys have a way of putting in, spice here and there.
Absolutely.
Comes with a different feel. Like you're saying, I've listened so much to There's a Luncedo. There's a contemporary feel to it. It's an old song that our parents
Exactly.
and our grandparents would sing, but it's a contemporary feel to it. So at my age group as well, I can also dance to it and be excited about it. So I agree
Absolutely.
fully with you. There's a question again. Our viewers asking, what is Colleen Francisco McOrland is asking, what is your take on spontaneous worship?
If you are given that by God,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing wrong with that. But that's another thing. I'm not sure who the person is and where they come from and how they define spontaneous worship.
Okay.
And
Colleen, if you can hear us, can you just jot down and write, how do you define spontaneous worship? Then we'll come back to that question.
yeah,
Okay,
so
let's just
can
park that question and come
okay.
back to it rather than if us fumbling through it. There was also a question that says, do you enjoy celebration? Would you then take to develop and help? Okay, sorry, it's by Musa Amini. Is if you can train young ones who do rap music with a Christian message. So would there be auditions for rap music with a Christian message?
No.
Not enjoying celebration, and you're not looking at.
Unfortunately, we are not there. Maybe it's because we are older and we
Okay.
come from a background of music, gospel music as it is with no frills that are too youngish. Our music is not too youngish. So
Absolutely.
maybe in the future we might feature that, but we are not in that tip of rap music and stuff. We just want to sing and the way we do for now. Maybe in the future.
Okay, so we're talking now about you. I hear a lot coming from you about development and grooming. I mean, we know from Dokozo Mbamba, we know of Hlengiwe, we know of Kayam Tedra, and even Margaret. You know, we
Yeah.
see her now on Idols. We're like, no, man, we know her from Family Factory at that
Yeah.
period of time, you know, with Mambusis Vicky, etc. And it's all your work developing them. Now, what we want to know that you know, Joy Celebration has had an indelible footprint in Africa and outside the borders of South Africa. I mean, you guys have sang in Ghana, sang in Kenya, sang in Cameroon, and all these other African states. What we want to know now, as an African entity, have you developed and groomed any musician or maybe band member who is not necessarily a South African citizen?
Oh yes. Over the years, we have had opportunities of working with different other musicians and artists from the continent a lot. I mean, we have Uche Agu. He's
Yes.
based in the US now.
Yeah.
He came from Nigeria and he was on Joyous. We have there's Haji, who was a percussionist from I think he was from Ghana. We worked with him. From Zimbabwe, there are a lot of Zimbabweans in Joyous. Maybe it's because of the proximity. We have Eric, there was Mkululi, who is touring all over now. He moved from Joyous, he's touring all over. Right now we have Eric, we had Take Show coming through for a year or two. We have Zaza from Swaziland. We have we have a lot of them who come through when we do auditions, and others we when we travel we hear them singing and we talk to them. Look, man, are you interested in this? You can come through. Let's do this thing. So there are a lot of them, but because of the shortage of funds, basically, we would have loved. For instance, we've heard a lot of requests to do Joyous Celebration Ghana, Joyous Celebration Tanzania, Joyous Celebration Nigeria and stuff. We would love to do that. But in terms of funds, it's very difficult to do that because you need a lot of money to do that. And but we hopefully will try and do that if God allows to make available those avenues and those fundings. But we do give opportunities to other African artists and band members even. Yeah.
That's wonderful. There's a viewer's comment again. They're saying that you've produced giants in the music. So when we come for auditions for Joy Celebration, it can be nerve-wracking for some of us who are not well known. What can you say to encourage us who want to be part of Joy Celebration auditions?
I can encourage people not only for Joyous, for everything in your life, whether it's for a job opportunity or an audition for music or whatever.
Yeah.
Just go there and be you. No one can be you but
Absolutely.
you. So
Absolutely.
in terms of singing, a lot of people come on auditions and they try to sound like what they think we want to hear.
Okay.
And that's dangerous because you don't even know what we want to hear.
Absolutely.
So the best thing, just come and be yourself. Be yourself. For instance, if a person says, I come from Tanzania,
yeah,
I don't expect them to sound like a South African.
Mm.
One day I was listening to one guy who comes from Zimbabwe. He's from Zimbabwe. And then he starts to sing in Zulu. Then I'm losing interest. I can't deal with that. I have a lot of Zulus that can sing that.
Absolutely.
Give me Zimbabwe. That is why
Be authentic.
Mkululi is making it in the whole world now. He actually, let me share with you. When he came, he wanted to do the worship type of songs in English. We're like, dude, you are from Zimbabwe. Show me Zimbabwe. And then he started, Icho Kwadie. He sang in Shona. Boom. Right now is
And
all
this
over the world.
and the song
There's
went
a,
viral.
exactly. There's a girl called Spumelele. Spumelele has this Zion thing.
Feel.
She
Yes.
came with the Zion thing, and
Yes.
nobody in Joyous was doing that. So we're like, we're gonna take this one because we don't have this. So there's no need for us to take you and be interested in you if you have what we have. If I have if I have it's a simple thing of necessity. If you are not necessary, you see, when you become yourself, you are putting yourself out there and say, here is who I am, and then I check in what I have and say, I don't have that. So I'm going to take that because I don't have it. But if you come and you do what I have, I don't need you. You are not necessary. Even if you have talent, but you're
Mm.
not necessary. I do have already
Yes.
what you have.
Yes.
So
Mm.
when you go
Mm.
to an interview where you go for a job, whatever, the biggest thing, besides researching about the company you're going to be interviewed for, the job you're going to be interviewed for, just be yourself there. Don't try to be something you're not. People
Absolutely.
love authenticity.
Mm.
You see,
Mm.
when I go sing, for instance, when I go sing in Cameroon or I go sing in the United States, I don't sing in English. I
Absolutely.
sing, I sing in Zulu. If they don't know Zulu, it's their problem. And they invited me because they heard me sing in Zulu. Why would I
Mm.
go there and sing in a different language?
Mm.
What I
Mm.
do, I just
Mm.
explain what the song means. I
Mm.
explain the content of the song and why the rhythm, why the, because we sing and dance as Africans. The
Mm.
Americans don't understand that. They sing and then they have dancers. Till now we
Sure.
sing and dance at
We
the
sing
same.
and dance. Yes.
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 So
That's the unique thing about it.
they'd be like, I'll be explain. For instance, there's a song I used to do, Eti Vuso Wako Umsebenzi. So the dance goes with my hands that go like this. Ne?
Mm-hmm.
My
Mm-hmm.
dance moves go like this. And I explain these hands, when they do this, they represent the horns of the cows from my
Okay.
family. You understand?
All right. All
So
right.
the movement of the body when it moves, like it represents amasimu, the fields where we do agriculture and we plant stuff. When the wind blows, you see the fruits and the trees moving like this. When I do a dance like this, it represents the sea, because we live along the coast. So all those things, Americans get fascinated. By the time I sing my Zulu, they bought into it. But if I come there
Mm.
and I sing their English and then their worship and stuff, they're like, we've heard this, we see this
Yeah.
every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the trick of making it anywhere you want to go, be yourself.
Be yourself. Talking about going to America, we do know that you once one of your key milestones for dress celebration is actually going to perform at Bishop T.D. Jake's church at the Porter's house. It was so big. I mean, even us South Africans were so excited to have you guys represent South Africa, the entire continent. You've also been signed up, by Universal Music Africa, and
Yes.
we know that there's also Motown Gospel involved in it. I mean, these are all big names, big shots. There's just great breakthroughs for Joy Celebration, and which we're very proud of. What else is there? I mean, can there be anything greater than what has happened now with Joy Celebration? What can we expect? Are there other opportunities that you'd like to share with us? Is there anything more that we would ever need to know? I mean, this is already big. You've already cracked so much as Joy.
um, the biggest thing is that God has given us this opportunity where we are right now. And as I speak to you, we're preparing for Friday, this coming Friday, we're launching the 25th album.
Wow.
And
Wow.
there's a
Well done.
virtual show, for instance. People, you pay 100 rand to view
Wow.
and stream the show. Only 100 rand. I mean, you view with your whole family. It means
Yeah,
if there's 5 people in the family, each one is paid 20 rand. And
sure.
that show is available for you for 48 hours. And
Mm.
it's the 25th installment of MTN Joy Celebration. We are excited about it. And this one came at the right time with the signing of a deal with Motown Gospel in the US and with Universal Music here in South Africa, We and also MTN is on the side to push this thing. We are excited about that, and we can't wait for this weekend for people to see what we do. The thing for us is this: we want to give our best in everything we do, not only the music, the sound, the lights, the uniform, the presentation, the
Yeah.
voices, the band. We go wild. We give our 100%. So what people will see on the 2nd, on Friday, they will see that amazing explosion of production that
Wow.
cannot be surpassed in this country. I mean, this is 25th year. So we're excited about that. The tickets are only 100 rand. And
Yeah.
you get the ticket, and then you stream the show, and then you call your friends, you sit down, you have popcorn. So what God is bringing, that's another thing.
Yeah.
If you're a believer,
Yeah.
like I am a believer, the biggest thing is to say, where I am now, I'm going to give 100%. Because God does not give you a map. God says, do this, and he kind of watches how you do it. And
Yep.
it prepares you for what he will put on your
For
plate
the next one.
next. So the biggest thing, when you say, I want to do this, I want to do that, you fail to focus on this. So I can't tell you what is going to happen in 2 years, or in that. I tell you now that on Friday,
This
the
is where we are.
2nd, M10 Joy Celebration 25 is being launched, and it's going to blow like amazingly with the talent we have. It's going to be crazy. And then after that, we will announce the next step, just like how God does things. And I encourage people to get those tickets and be ready for Friday, the 2nd of April. It's happening.
And I do know this is your second virtual show. You had one in 2020 towards the end. How did that go?
We this is our fourth. Oh,
Okay.
this is our fourth. We did one in October. That was the
Yeah.
first. We did one in
Okay.
November. That was the second. And in Durban, we did the third one. We called
Third
it
one.
Restoration. And that third one was done in Durban. Now, this one is the fourth. The first one was tricky because Joy Celebration in its nature is driven by audience. So it was difficult to perform on stage with no one, with the camera people only.
For sure.
Oh,
For sure.
that was crazy.
There's
And
no
then
physical contact.
you understand. So the second one in November, we got around 10 people to sit in front here, so we can see them. So we worked with that, and it kind of
Yeah.
worked. And then the third one in Durban was better because they allowed us to have around 250 people at the ICC. That one was better. So this one is even better because we are used now to even smaller audiences. So it's got the president announced yesterday that we can have 250 people.
Yeah.
So it's going to be amazing. So we're excited to do this on Friday.
Okay. We spoke a lot about success. We spoke a lot about how you've worked hard and how you've done things according to time and how you're feeling at that time. We do know that success does not come easy. And one of the articles that we've read as Ginger the Voice was to see when you were talking about how you actually did some administration for Joy Celebration when you started in the boot of your car. And also it's amazing, and where God has taken you from there to here. And also we've also read a lot of, I actually want to quote Dr. Linda Kiza when he spoke about this. He says, there's been crazy ups and downs with Joy Celebrations, but we are here.
Yeah.
Can you mention some of those ups and downs for us? Because some of us, we see the glitz and the glamour. We see now Joy Celebration going to Texas. We see Joy Celebration, having all those nice, flowery things happening now. The time you started, what were the ups and downs that you were encountering as Joy Celebration?
One of the biggest hurdle that we've always encountered is the lack of funds, lack of sponsorship. I remember when we started in the early years, there was a time where we were thinking, let's stop this thing. It's not working out. Because I remember we were in Cape Town, and the first time we went to Cape Town, and there was around maybe 20, 30 people there who came, and we drove all the way from Joburg. And imagine you drove all the way and there's like 20 people. People don't know what you are doing. You know, they're
Yeah.
like, who are
Yeah.
these people? What are they doing? You know, dress celebration, what is that? So even
Yeah.
those that came, they like sit there and just look at you like, what are you trying to do? You know? So we had a conversation where we were like, you know, man, is this thing working? Maybe it's not working. Maybe we should stop. And I remember we had a meeting with the choir and we said, guys, money is finished. We can't continue with this thing. And the choir said, look, just give us food and a place to sleep. We'll do this thing for free.
Wow.
And we did that for
Wow.
free. So we
Wow.
pushed. There are many. I mean, my first pay was around 240 rands.
Sure.
Yeah, when we decided that there's going to be payments, 240 rands. But everybody got that. You know, we took the money, put it in a shoebox, and here's 10 rand for you, 10 rand for you, 10 rand for you, until it was 240 or so for everybody. It's not about the money. It's not about what people see now. It's about the music and what the music does to us. And now, along the way, we learn that the music is doing that to other people.
That's our
The
people.
biggest one is the hurdle of funding. But God has been good after that. When people started to believe in us, to see that, oh, bias, oh, people started to believe, and they're like, okay, let's talk. We'll give you this, we'll give you that. And right now, we've just signed a new deal with MTN for the next 3 years.
Wow.
It's
Well
kind of not too bad. So
done.
other things can be dealt with. Other things are nothing. The biggest thing is funding, because we can't move without funding. You know,
Can't. There's
other
nothing.
things. Yeah, the problems with young people, the problem with branding, the problem with the press, the problem with what. Those are nothing. Those can be sorted out.
When you say, I'm interested now, you're saying problems with young people. But what are
Yeah,
you talking about? What do you mean when
young
you say
people.
problems with young people?
Okay, when young people come to the group, others are coming from KZN in the rural area. Others are coming from Kabeja. Others
Yeah.
are coming from Limpopo. Others are coming from rich um, families where there's daddy and mommy. Others come, they have cars. Others come from, when they all come together to work on this project, there's no way there will be spontaneous flow.
Absolutely.
This one does not want to sleep with this one in the same room because they're not used to sleeping with somebody else in a room. This one does not eat this, they eat that. This one is spoiled. They come from a well-off family. They are spoiled. They want attention. This one has an attitude. This one is super spiritual, that thinks they are whatever. So all those little things, So my job and our job is to say, okay, this one needs attention. Let's not give this one attention, so she will grow or he will grow, because this world has no time for nonsense. So if you want attention at the bus rank, nobody has time for that. So we have to teach them to say, look, you're not going to get the attention all the time. So this one does not want to sleep with that one in the room. Like, we have to sit down and say, this is not your home. This is work. And at work, you do what you need to do or you leave. So we work at that as we prepare them, as we rehearse, as we travel, by the time they finish their term in the group, those areas have been straightened. So they come out with the music experience, but also with learning to live with other people.
Yes, with those interpersonal skills that we all need to have in order to move
Absolutely.
forward in life.
Yeah.
And I'm sure at that time, a lot of people probably don't know that you're also an academic. There's this subtle thing about musicians that I know these ones, school, they're not, people don't know that you actually have a degree from the University of KwaZulu-Natal. You're an academic. Wasn't there a point in your time where you thought to yourself, this is too hard for you, this is too much? You know what? You're going to go back to having your 9-to-5 job where you are secure of a salary every month?
No. No.
Wow. Okay.
I was a lecturer at college for around 10 years. And my passion is people, one, but my passion is young people too. For me, when I look at a young person, I picture them. I look at you now, I picture you at CNN with your own show. You understand?
I received it.
I picture you having your own media house like Oprah Winfrey.
Ooh,
No matter how no matter how dirty you are, no matter how uneducated you are, no matter how you are, you see, in the book that I've written, I've written a book. It's called, here's my
Finding
book,
meaning in life. Yes, finding meaning in
Finding
life.
Meaning. In this book, I talk about the seed of a peach. The seed of a peach looks ugly, and when you step on it, it hurts your feet. So when a person has finished eating the peach, they throw away the seed. And that seed, in that seed, ugly as it is, thrown away in some dustbin, there is a tree, there are branches, there are leaves, and there's fruit in it, and roots in that seed.
Yeah.
So when you look at it from outside, you don't see what is inside. But if you take care of it, ugly as it is, you are making it possible for what is inside to come out.
Wow.
So when I see a young person, I see a potential, I see a seed.
Wow.
Maybe my job is to speak a positive word to you, to activate the roots in you. Maybe my job is to open this door for you in order for the seed that is locked up in you to be activated. So my passion is people, is young people particularly. Therefore, where I am, I can remain here even if I don't make money, as long as I get an opportunity to activate what is inside of young people.
Talk about your book. I do know that this is not actually your first book, maybe your first published book, but when you were 15 years old, a young a lad, you wrote a book. Like I've said earlier on, you're a man of many talents. And I think what I've picked up about you and what I appreciate, and where South Africa appreciate about you, is that you don't hold back. You do that which is in your heart, and you do all of it, and all of you unearth your potential. So when you were 15, you wrote a book, and they discouraged you. People who are close to you discouraged you that it won't go anywhere, and you end up burning the book. And we hope one day you'll write again a similar story that you wrote in that novel, because we still want to hear it and read it. What were you aspiring to achieve in you writing this book?
When I write, I write poetry also. I write TV programs. I write. I design.
So,
I design.
If you write TV programs, so we can be waiting for a next program that will be shown on Showmax or Netflix by Pastor Jabu Hlongwane. Am I correct?
I don't know where it will be shown, but there's one I wrote for one gospel, for instance. It was called The Joyous Hour. It played for around 4 seasons or 5 seasons.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, this is the thing about me. Whatever that I do, I don't do it and say, I want to maybe write a song and I want the song to be famous and I want to push the song, and I'm not there. I write the song and release the song, then I'm done. So I don't chase my creations. I'm taking out what I get pregnant with a concept. So what I need to do is to give birth. When I've given birth, I'm done. I'm facing a direction of doing other things. That's what it is. So if I write, I'm not an author. I write. I write whatever that God has given me. This is a book, but God gives me poetry also to write. But also God gives me short stories. He also gives me songs. He also gives me sermons. So those things have to do with writing. So I write because I can. I design because I can. So Uguti, where it goes, I'm not the one that brought that thing to me.
Yeah.
It's God who brought it to me. It's his business where it goes. So that is why when I remember we're in the US with Lindelani and Tuzi, we're in the US, and we say, no, it's a Sunday, let's go to church.
Yeah.
We go to a particular church. It was in New York. We go to some church in New York, and we sit down at the back, and we just sitting there. And then they start singing my song.
Wow.
You know, I'm like, what is that now? You know, and
Yeah.
until somebody saw me sitting at the back, and then they saw the three of us, and they got screaming, and it was crazy. But in our minds, we were a little confused because we don't do this for that.
Yes.
We do this because God has given us this to do. And
Absolutely.
also, it's almost like we're not, okay, this is another thing. Ne? People have a tendency to want to say, I'm a celebrity. I do not, I reject that. Not in a negative way. I don't subscribe to that. Because I don't know what that is. Maybe I'm known, I'm recognizable, but I'm not. Okay, let me tell you this. Ne? I'm not as impressed with what I do and what I have done as you or other people are.
Sure.
Because I want to believe that anybody who have been in my position, if they're done less than what I've done, they've failed. I'm not. It's not about being brilliant or being this or you. It's just like what you mentioned. You say that I'm humble.
Yes.
I don't. Anybody that has done what I've done and has become what I have become, and they are not humble, there's something wrong with them.
Okay.
Because what really humbles you is when you see your walk and where you come from and where you are now, and you know it cannot be you. It's God who has done that.
God
It
opened the door.
humbles
God made a
you.
way.
It humbles you. So you can't be puffed up with what you did not do. So when you become
Absolutely.
puffed up, you are saying, yeah, I'm this guy, I've done this, I've done that, I'm good, I'm talented, I'm brilliant, and whatever. Then there's something wrong with you. So when you see what God has done, you are humbled by that, because it's not because you are better, it's not because you are special. And a whole lot of people who are talented, and a lot of people who are beautiful, who had all the accolades, who had all the things, they could have gotten what you've gotten. So if you get it and you're able to get to where you are right now, it needs to humble you. It must humble you. And if you can't be humble, then there's something wrong with you.
Something wrong, absolutely. And of course, because the journey to a higher place and to success is never easy. You get bumps along the road that actually humble you. And like you say, they actually show you that this door was opened by God. Jabu, as a last word, as we're going to close, as a last word to young people who are, some of them aspiring artists, some of them are upcoming artists, in this COVID-19 situation, as a businessman, how can they use their talents and gifts in terms of the music and entertainment industry to help them put food on the table, to help them move forward as we're experiencing this difficult time economically as a country and a nation?
Do what you can do until you can do what you want to do.
Come on now. I heard that, but maybe just repeat it again. Maybe there's there's someone who didn't hear it. Please repeat that again.
Okay, you are a musician. You are an aspiring musician somewhere in the township or wherever. There's COVID. You can't be a musician because of whatever. Maybe it's COVID. You don't get a deal to record, and people don't believe in you, and whatever. A next door neighbor has a car.
Yeah.
And the next door neighbor washes their car every week.
Yeah.
They pay 50, 60, 70 rand to wash their car. While you wait for the time to do what you want to do, ask for an opportunity to wash that car and come out of that place with 50 rand to buy bread and butter and
Wow.
on that day you shall have eaten. There
Wow.
are so many opportunities. You can't. I mean, if you are physically okay, you're not even crippled, you're fine, you're not disabled in any way, you have a brain
Yep.
that is working, you're not
Yep.
crazy in your head. I don't
Yep.
understand why you would go hungry when there is
Mm.
a car there's a garden from the next door. If you do the garden, you say, give me whatever you want. They won't give you less than 20 rand because they pay somebody more than that. Do washing for somebody. Do
Yes.
something.
Do
That's a
something.
thing. And in South
Mm.
Africa, I need to say this. In South Africa,
Yes.
that culture has not been established. That is why you find that
Mm.
African immigrants who come to South Africa from other countries of Africa, they will do
They get
anything for
jobs.
you.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna go hungry when they have
Yeah.
hands. They will
Yeah.
wash your car, they will wash
Mhm.
your washing at home, they will do your stuff. So I go back to what I said. As an artist, you're looking for an opportunity to perform or whatever. Do what you can do. You can wash somebody's car
Mhm.
until you can do what you want to do.
Want to do.
When you have
Absolutely.
money and things are opening up, then you can do what you want to do. But don't sit because you can't do
Mm.
what you want to do. Do what you can do.
Mm. And that's a hustler's motto, I believe. We need to get our hands dirty as South Africans. Get up and do something.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Yes.
much, Pastor Jabu Hlongwane, for coming through. We truly appreciate this. I just want to read this one comment for you from Pandora Nazo. She's saying one thing she appreciates about Joy Celebration is consistency. So thank you so much, Pastor Jabu Hlongwane. People, South Africans love Joy Celebration. We know that now you've been heard in Africa and even overseas. You've got a fan base. We're so excited that you're representing South Africa and representing Africa as a whole. The job or the work you have done, we've noticed it and we appreciate it as South Africa. Keep on keeping on, keep walking, no matter what comes through. Just know there are some fans who appreciate you and who are looking at you, particularly at the consistency that comes with it. Thank you so much, Pastor Jabu. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Pastor Jabu, who is the founder of Joy
Thank you.
Celebration. But what was said earlier on is that he's a man wearing many hats. He's an author and academic. He's also a father, a husband, and he is the founder of Joyous Celebration, a songwriter and a producer. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Ginger the Voice truly appreciates you. My name is Ginger, the founder of Ginger the Voice. We're a communications company that seeks to give hope, courage, and enlightenment. We do this through various platforms such as speaking, singing, and hosting talk shows. Thank you for tuning in tonight. See you next week, same time, same place, and God bless you.